drip, drip, swish, swish, swish. I know I'm healthy, babe.
What up, what up, what up? It's your boy Davontae Forever, back here with another one. Alright, so today I do want to talk about a few things. But first, the thing I want to talk about the most is how to, this is for like my younger people, when like you're transitioning into your adulthood, right? And especially when you're getting out of college and shit like that, you start to realize that like you and your friends are starting to grow apart and shit. People that like you may just have met over the last 4 years, or like people you went to high school with, everybody's starting to go their own separate ways. And a lot of times we're not built to understand how to get through these things. And today I just want to tell you that it's normal to feel like you feel. Most people feel like they're not doing enough because one of their friends just got like a new internship, or like their lives are moving fast while you're still living at home with your parents and stuff like that. It's okay. Like, it's a great thing that your friends are doing different things, and it's okay that you haven't found your thing yet. And I feel like a lot of times people get jealous and like they compare too much. They compare themselves to other people way too much, to a point where it's like they just get so lost. Like, I feel like so many people just don't understand how slow and important it is to just take your time, but instead we rush into shit because we think it's gonna be great and we think that's the right way to do, and in reality it's really not. Like, I'm gonna give you an example. So I thought that like I was gonna work at a cell phone company, right? And I was like, you know what, cool, I can make some money, I'll make hella money, I'll make a lot of money, and I'll just use it for more recording stuff and lights and shit and cameras so I can get different angles. I was gonna use it for a bunch of shit, right? I was so lit, I was so ready for it, and I didn't do any of it. And then, you know, I get to work and I didn't like it at all, mostly because the shit was like dead in the hood. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it was not safe, let's put it that way. It was not safe at all. But, you know, honestly, I just didn't like it. And, you know, these things happen. So I just kept going. And honestly, eventually, I didn't like it. And I told my dad, like, listen, Dad, I was like, Dad, I'm sorry, but it wasn't for me. And now you ask yourself, instead of like him being like, you just got this job, you don't even know if you're going back to college yet, blah, blah, blah. You just looked at me and said, what you gonna do next? And I said, I don't know. I'm gonna look for a different job. A lot of times we get to a point where it's like, we put so much pressure on ourselves to have like a plan B, C, D, and E, when sometimes we don't understand how long that takes for us to gain a plan A, B, C, and D. Sometimes like shit, sometimes we're still working on plan A. A lot of times people will tell you like you always have to have a backup plan, which is a smart advice, but like a lot of times we don't even have a plan A to begin with. And it's like, that's the thing that sucks about like figuring shit out, is you gotta just figure that shit out, and you gotta do it at your own pace. A lot of times people want you to do things at their pace. Nah, you gotta do shit at your pace. Like, I know I'm gonna find a job, I know I'm gonna be okay, like I figured it out with school. And the reason why I don't worry about these things is because of the things I've been through before. Like, I've been through a lot of crazy, tough mental shit. Like, there was a time when like I didn't even want to live. Like, I remember this time when I was in high school, right? No, not high school. I was in my first year of college, Pace University. And I just remember feeling like everything that I knew, everything I thought around me was a lie. I remember the first time I realized that I wasn't happy. And then somebody looked at me and were like, how could you not be happy? Like, look at the things around you. Look at how many people around you. Look how many people love you. There's a lot of people who are going to tell you they love you. But there's not a lot of people who actually know you. And I feel like that was the hardest thing that I had to learn for myself. So many people I learned didn't love me, but they loved the idea of me. They loved the thought or the narrative of who I was in the head. So when I was with my ex-girlfriend, she loved the idea of me, but she didn't love very much who I was as a person at that time. And that's not me saying that like I was a fantastic person. I wasn't. I was a dickhead. I'll be the first one to tell you I was an asshole. An asshole. Because sometimes when you're afraid of the unknown, you tend to do things, you tend to coddle things that hurt you. I didn't know what it's like to be loved by a girl, so I ran. I started to act like I didn't care if you were going to leave me and things of that nature, because that's what I expected women to do anyway. I was so used to females not sticking in my life, to the fact that when somebody did stick in my life, it kind of threw me off. And that's not her fault. That's my fault, because I didn't see the greatness in myself. And so many people don't see the greatness in themselves. It's very hard to see the greatness in yourself, because sometimes it's hard for you to see it, to a point where it's when people compliment you on things, you can't even believe it, because you don't even believe it's true. I talk to a lot of people every single day. And a lot of my friends are graduating. One of my dogs just moved to California and shit like that. A lot of my friends are doing so well. So well with their lives. And it's very tough when you hear them doing all these great things, and then they ask you that question of, so how you doing, bro? And you ain't got no answer for them. That shit is brutal. And it can kind of make you feel out of your place, being oh wow, they're doing all these great things, and I'm still stuck here. I'm still stuck at home. I don't know what I'm doing and stuff like that. It's a hard narrative to it's a hard thing you're dealing with. But even to think of that is, you have to continue to just like the last video, you got to continue to run your race. A lot of times, we think that we have to move to the speed of the world, when in reality, the world has to move to the speed of you. You have to be able to grow on your own and be happy with that. I know that I've always had a slower process than everybody else. I'm gonna be honest with you guys, I failed a grade, the 5th grade. My best friend's mom was my teacher, and I failed a grade. I didn't fail because I was dumb or some shit. Nah, I failed because I didn't try. My father got cancer that year. I was dealing with a lot of issues, not seeing my mom a lot at that time, and I quit. Once my dad got cancer, I quit. And actually, me not being in the best grade being in the grade with a lot of my friends at the time, and when they graduated high school, I kind of felt I was so left out of the senior pictures and stuff like that, because these are the people I grew up with. But in reality, not graduating with that class of my dogs and all made me more independent. I found my best friend Guy from that. And also, I just became me. I was able to grow way more and at a speed that was better fitting for me. And I feel like that was like the most important part. I became more of myself when that happened. And then going through my life, and then when my mother died, that was painful. That damaged me for a very, very, very long time. And not a lot of people knew how bad it damaged me. But then I got to high school, and then all of a sudden you start to see a lot of people who have like false identities. They're just narratives. Like, people didn't like me for me. People liked me because I was the person that like everybody was told to like. Like, oh, Davontae's just such a sweetheart. Does nothing wrong. Davontae has all the right answers. Davontae's the best. I don't have all the answers. I was just honest. But the fact that like I made honest popular is a sad thing. But like so many people, but what happened was so many people had this preconceived notion of who I was. It became a fight to live up to that notion. And after a while, you lose sight of who you actually are. So when I got to college, and I was like, I'm still having fun and shit like that. But when I was going through like the issues I had with my ex and stuff like that, I had no idea who the fuck I was. I had no identity. I didn't know me. And it's a scary sight of not knowing who you are. So after a while, man, I had to take time for myself. And everything I'm telling you guys right now was not a fast process. And that's the thing. Sometimes we want, like, every time it's like, we think life is such about like a quick flip, and it's really not. I went through a depression and finding my identity for like 6 years. It took me 6 years to finally be accepting of who I am and who I was, and to know where I'm going. It took me 6 years to be ready for to be me. It took me 2-3 years to even be ready to actually date again. For real. It took me 2-3 years to actually have my mind ready to see someone. And I'm really excited. Because yes, your boy low key off the market. We ain't gonna talk about that, but dude, your boy low key off the market. But more importantly, move at your own pace, bro. Like, my friends are doing great right now, and I'm proud of all my friends. But when people ask you, like, yo, how you doing, D? Don't expect that your answer has to move up to theirs. Just because they got an internship or something like that doesn't mean your internship is coming. It's not coming. Run your race. And speaking of friends, a lot of times we don't have friends who are successful. And if your friends being successful doesn't make you happy, but also make you get on your grind, you're doing something wrong, Chief. I'm sorry. Like, be around people who inspire you. And I feel like a lot of us aren't. And that's the problem with the world. We're not around people who inspire us and look out for us. And that's one of the biggest things, biggest issues with people as a whole. So I just wanted to say, bro, just move at your own pace, bro. There's nothing like it. There ain't nothing better than it. Thank y'all for listening to me again. It's your boy Davontae forever. Rocking a fitted, actually, that's very different, but fuck with it. I will see y'all soon with another episode. Y'all already know my vibes. Thank y'all. It's been your boy D, and we out.
Late nights drunk as fuck. I keep waking up. You call making